Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Lunar Silver Star Harmony. This is episode 21. I gotta pull up my stuff. Sorry, I am not organized today. It's just been one of those days. I can't type. That's okay. We just get to listen to good music. Okay, we are about to go to Iluk. Before that, we're gonna do a world tour. We Lunin? Is that how we're referring to that? Oh god. Dippin'. She's like, why you touch me? You always look so unhappy, Adam. You always look so unhappy. You want over here? No. Like, I'm really not gonna... I'm not interested. Not gonna be interested. I would pet the Odie, but he is way over here. Not getting up to pet him, though. How's it going, everybody? Let's play some Lunar. Oh, yeah. Okay, we have already obtained the first red chest. You spent the weekend at your aunt's house and her cat is so antisocial. Isn't that just like, you wish you could pet him, but he actively avoids everyone's pets? That's such a, like, quintessentially cat scenario. Next weekend she'll be super social. Oh, yeah. It's like, every cat in the world is either the most social thing in existence or the most antisocial thing. Right? Like, that's just cat. Bless you! Bless! Oh, I didn't want to go back in there. Whoops. You have been blessed, mama. Rachel's cat's also very antisocial, very bitey. I wonder why Chewy is very bitey. Do I have to do this? Do I have to do this in a... Maybe I have to do this in a location. You have to do it from the menu. Your baby just turned 1 this weekend and has 12 teeth, super bitey. Holy shit. Congratulations on your baby turning 1 this weekend. That's fucking awesome. I wonder, yeah. Right? It's been a year already. You always, time flies. He wandered around the dining room during Thanksgiving dinner and whined because we took all the chairs he likes to sleep in. Aww. Aw, I love it. If I could afford them and I had space for them, I would have many more fur babies. But we live in a teeny tiny apartment, and that's just not conducive. So, man, I am out of it. Warp wing, no. Dragon ring, no. Where is dragon wings? There we go. Jeez, we're going to Berg. My goodness. I'm not sure we're going to make a lot of progress tonight, because I am apparently very spacey. My notes say Berg. Oh. No. My notes do say Berg. I was just looking at the wrong description after the notes. I was looking at the one in Berg is in Ramus's house. Do I have enough? Funds to do the thing? 23,000. We do not have enough money. A stew pot lid. What the fuck? What are we doing with a stew pot lid? Is that actually like a legitimate... It is. Almost a shield. That's gotta be, like, used for something special. Eh? It's just the worst. It's just the worst thing in the worst shield in the game. Cool. Oh, fuck. I will probably accidentally sell that, I'm sure. I'll try to remember not to, but in all likelihood. I don't know why I'm walking around. I should be able to just use the wings from wherever. To Saith. Right. I don't know. We will try, because we have to go indoors for this red chest, so I will try to remember to actually just use it in there. We'll see. Protection ring. That's nice. Okay. In DQ, you can't use zoom because you hit your head on the ceiling. That would make sense. Fairness. Ah, shit. Nope, doesn't care. You can definitely use it inside. It doesn't give two shits. Good to know. Now we need to go into the forest. You'd best have the room for it? Ugh. Gonna turn over the AI for this one. It's so nice to have the whole party together. Very, very fun. Quite exciting. The whole, like, putting the band together, right, is just one of those quintessentially fun things to do in an RPG. Ooh, strength up. Healing ring, flame ring, let's... We'll do that. I really do like the sprite work in this game. I think they did, in this version of the game, I think they did a pretty nice job. I mean, it's been so long since I've played the PlayStation version that I don't remember the sprites very well. Right? I think they are comparable, but I kind of am really interested in playing Lunar 2 since there is no like version like this of Lunar 2, right? These sprites are less chibi, if that's even believable. Yeah, definitely believable. All right. East, north, north. Oh, it's actually in the witch's house. Yeah. Limpopo. Like, how dare you touch me? She's starting to look a little angry. I might have to leave her alone. Twitchy tailing? You twitchy tailing at me? You should be twitchy tailing at me. We're nice here. What? What? All persnickety. All persnickety. He's a snooty patootie. Okay. Is there anything else that we're crazy that we're gonna get? I think most of the rest of the stuff, we're gonna get another fortune ring, which is good. Ooh, a ninjask. I want that. I don't have that ball. Remember when Null was not Null, when Nash was caught in one of these? That goofball. Hey lady, you still doing okay? I sensed he was a bad boy, but not in that way. Orc is the first victim of Galleon's treachery, and he won't be the last. That freaking masks eyes every single time. Ah. Ah. Nope. Oh god. We're trapped. Alright, I think the majority of the rest of the stuff that we get is actually silver lights, with maybe like the odd item here or there. I don't know why I'm doing the thing again where I'm like, oh, it won't let us use it. Oh, it won't let us use it in a dungeon, obviously, but we can use return to escape a dungeon and then go from there. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. We go to safe. Be able to access our inventory. Alright, now we're heading to Maribia. There should be two in Maribia. One in the house near the whatchamacallit, and then one in the sewers. Alright, we gotta walk around all the broken shit. Down here. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. 2,000 silver. That's a big bummer. We actually do have to walk because we need to go to the sewers. No. We need to go to Mel's mansion because the other side we won't we won't come out on the right location from the other side. We have to go to the entrance in Mel's mansion. Dear old dad. Still hanging around. It's all the way in the arena down below, I believe. Down here. Here we go. Paunchy snake. That's rude. That's fucking rude. These snakes are just living their best lives. Game calls them paunchy. Insensitive. Actually leveled up, holy shit. Yo, we got a range increase. That's awesome. Get to that point to where our range increases most of the screen. Or not the increase, but just the actual stat. Hell yeah. Like if it showed you kind of like a circle, a visual representation of like how far your range actually is. Yeah, that's kind of a hidden stat. That isn't really a thing that you get to view in this game. You just kind of have to judge. You get kind of a feel for it. Well, okay then. Bum ba bum ba bum bum. Silver lights. Okay, so now I think we can actually warp out of here. Wrong location. There's not a lot of games that have the kind of like range element like this. Like most games are either a, you know, if they're turn-based, it doesn't matter where you are, right? Unless there's a grid, right? In which case it's a grid and you know your exact move range, right? Or it's an action game, like, and that's not turn-based, so it's irrelevant, right? One of the only other like series that I can think of that has movement range to kind of like a point, and it's not really movement range, but it's the Growlancer series, right? And that it doesn't have movement range, like it's you pick where you're moving on the map, right? Because it's like a real-time kind of RPG. But everyone has a speed stat, so some people are way faster than others, so they can move along that range faster. Sometimes you've got stuff like Phantom Brave, Breath of Fire 5, or Quest 64, right? Like there's a few... You know what? That's actually like... There's a very small subset of RPGs that deal with movement outside of the norm. Most of them are, you know, the big three, right? Like either just turn-based, right? Action, or grid-based, right? Which is typically grid turn-based, right? So that's kind of interesting. I say that there's not a lot, but like we could probably fill hours thinking of and listing games that qualify for that, but still, it's Those are some good examples. Yeah, Phantom Brave kind of falls into that Growlancer kind of concept a bit, where like you just select where you're moving, and you have like a movement. In Phantom Brave you have like a movement range, but in Growlancer again you have like a speed. Quest 64 is kind of like, I don't know. I would say Quest 64 is more along the lines of like the live action kind of scenario, because you don't really have you're moving, right? Like, but exactly, right? Like you're put into an arena every time you fight, but once the fight happens, you're just running around in that arena. Isn't that how Quest 64 works, or do you have to actually... Oh, is it actually turn-based? I can't remember. It's been so long since I've played Quest 64. It is turn-based, because you have to actually like sit there and smack things repeatedly. I'm in the wrong spot. It's been ages since I played Quest 64. I know that game has like a bit of a bad reputation, but I actually really enjoyed it when I was a kid. Not like the, oh, it was like super formative for me and oh, it's at the top of my list nostalgia kind of enjoyment. It definitely doesn't have that for me. That game is straight up a bad time? Really? I definitely did not feel like that game was straight up a bad time. I definitely had a good time with the game. Where are we? Southeast. Oh, goodness. Play the Game Boy Color Quest port. It's alright. Okay, fair enough. I don't remember actual Quest 64 being that bad, you know. Period. Like, I remember playing the shit you know what? Jay is probably gonna be able to like, you know, follow me on this, but like, Quest 64 was kind of up my alley because of the whole like finding the little magic spirits, right? Like, it was this, to me, it was just like so fun to run around and find these things, because it really like clicks on my Kodama senses, right? So, and there were just so fucking many to find. There's an absurd number of things to find in that game. You have to, because grinding out essence in battle was soul draining? Well, you know. Grandia has one of my favorite turn-based battle systems. Yeah, Grandia is pretty unique as well. I think my issue is that I don't, like, I actually dabbled recently in Grandia because it's on my short list. I do want to play it again. So I dabbled, just, you know, getting it on set up and like investigating, oh hey, what's going on with this, you know, and it's rough, right? Like, it's still charming, but it's not fluid, right? But it definitely still has a unique battle system that's kind of cool. Fair, at the time, that was like the only RPG the 64 had. That's true, right? Like, it was very much the era of the 64 had platformers, right? Action platformers like Mario, Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie, etc., etc. Bomberman, and then it had like, weirdly, the 64 had a bunch of racing games on it. It felt was strange. So. Did we go the wrong way? I don't know. That's actually kind of like a system I don't go back to a whole bunch. Like, Yes, actually, the 64 did have a surprising number of strategy games. That's actually where I was going with that thought process, Maokai. I was in my head. I was going like, that's a game system that I don't go back to a whole lot, but I actually spent a lot of time playing Command and Conquer, playing StarCraft, both on the 64, playing Ogre Battle 64, just a shit ton. So like, there's yeah. Well, different kind of strategy, right? Like, Command and Conquer and StarCraft being RTS and Ogre Battle being, well, it's definitely a strategy game, right? But like, RTS question mark, you know. Ogre Battle 64 is one of the games that I need to play again. East, go north, and when the pass splits. RTS not. I mean, technically, you get put on a map, right? You don't have to like build things or anything like that, but you get put on a map, and your units are moving around in real time. Right? I also agree, right? I think a key feature of the RT of a natural or normal RTS is the resource mining and management. I would consider Ogre Battle 64 to be a tactical RPG, or just a basic strategy RPG. But the issue is Ogre Battle's kind of a unique style of strategy game. So it doesn't, when you say, oh, it's a strategy RPG, most people are like, oh, so it's like a Fire Emblem game, right? You know, or it's grid-based. Or it's, you know, Tactics Ogre, right? It's Final Fantasy Tactics, right? Something like that. But Ogre Battle 64 is definitely not, I mean, it's a different mold. Absolutely different mold. Technically, yes, it's a strategy game in real time. I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? Yes, it's its own corner of gaming. There are very few games in the style of Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, or Ogre Battle 64. In point of fact, right, like the only other game that I know of is the Symphony of War game that's kind of like on my docket to play. And it's on my docket because I'm like, oh, that's Fire Emblem meets Ogre Battle. But even it, right, like as a combination, it's not like March of the Black Queen or 64 was, where you just like pick a point and your unit moves towards that. It's a grid. Symphony of War is a grid, a la any other strategy RPG. But when you get into the fight, then the combat is like Ogre Battle, right? That does. You need to play the Vesteria Saga games. They're made by the guy who created Fire. Yes, so Vesteria Saga is another 1 and 2. 2 came out not too long ago, right? They're both on my shortlist, right, for strategy games. There's so many games that I actively want to be playing right now. Yeah, I think it came out a couple months ago. I'm actually very interested in playing both of those. And there's another game that I just messaged Jay and Mitch about earlier today, I believe. That's also on my on my radar. I think it's like Grey Haven or something like that. That is very, very Fire Emblem-y. It might have been yesterday. Grey Heritage. So, this is another thing that's on my radar. I don't know why I'm running out of here. We'll return Litany out. You keep forgetting the name of a strat RPG in a SNES that was fan translated, and you have to get Maokai to remind you the name every time. You played several hours of BS1. Really feels like older FE for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I've played a little bit of it. I played like the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it definitely has that same kind of vibe too. I'm hoping, right? Like I'm hoping that vibe is doesn't mean shallow gameplay, right? Because I like a lot of the older Fire Emblem games, but they do have pretty shallow gameplay towards the beginning of the series. I say that, but I came away from Genealogy, the Holy War, feeling like that was one of the best Fire Emblem games that I've ever played. I'm actually really looking forward to Engage, right? I don't know. I just kind of have the itch all of a sudden again. But I watched another one of the trailers that came out like 2 weeks ago, and now I'm kind of hyped for Fire Emblem Engage. Yeah, so when I originally heard about the idea for Engage, I was very much like, ah, fuck, this is come on, like let the old stories die, right? Like make new shit. And I still kind of am like that. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, that's why it has all the fan service. Yeah, and that makes sense, right? But like, so I was very against the idea initially, but after watching it in action, I'm still like, I think I would still rather have brand new characters, right? Even with the Engage system. But the Engage system looks really cool, and the new characters look really cool. So what I would have preferred to have had, right, is the new characters, the Engage system, and then these heroes, classic heroes from this game's story, being like these ghosts basically or whatever, that are kind of like really cool interests, you know? But it's very fan servicey. Sigurd's emblem ring gives gives mounted units +7 movement range. I've seen it in action. But the system does look really fun, and the new characters do look pretty neat, right? So I am hopeful that it's not gonna suck. I like my phrasing there. I'm hopeful it's not gonna suck. I don't think it'll suck at all. I think it'll be a very good game, but I am still concerned that it will have, like, so much of a core of it will be conceptually the fan service part of it, that it won't be as good as it should be, potentially. We'll see, though. Either way, I'm relatively excited. I'm gonna head to LAN. There's to the north. Another silver light. You want to know what they're gonna do for the rest of the emblem rings they haven't shown off yet? Like Roy, Leaf, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm curious. Well, they've given the exact number that they're gonna have, right? Like they've specifically said there's 13, there's like 12 or 13 rings or some shit like that. It's 12? Yeah, okay. So they've given the exact number of rings, one from each previous game, and that makes sense, right? So we know who the likely candidates are, right? Like there's no, yeah. It's been main characters only, right? They haven't like, oh, we're gonna take this super famous fan character. Other than Lyn, I don't know. Like Lyn is technically main character, right? Like Lyn is the first main character, like the starting main character. She's just not like she's not like the main portion of the story's main character, I guess. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? That's a weird statement. You get what I'm saying though, right? Like, and Bonanza Pass. Lippo, you moved closer. Now I can bug you more. She's like, oh great, thank you for that. Also, Lyn is like Bae, so It makes sense that they would pick her. You're right. Fuck. Otis Babotis, will you go get me some medicine? Nice. Pretty sweet. Cool that the AI is like, here, I'll just take care of this. You assume they don't want to have Roy and Elliowood in the same game? Too similar? I guess. Wait. Did you just make a statement about Fire Emblem characters being too similar, Mayokai? Because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have like 3 or 4 clones in Engage for like every character, basically. I feel like that's just Fire Emblem. But I mean, that's also fair, right? Like, an Angels tier. Regardless, I'm pretty excited. But it just means, right? Like, I've got they're essentially the same characters, absolutely. Barring hair color, yeah, 100%. 100%. And I mean, there are Marth, Leaf, Roy, and Elliowood are not only are they essentially the same characters, but there are plenty of other Fire Emblem characters that are essentially those characters, right? Like you could continue that list by saying, fuck, I can't even remember half of their names, but like 3 of the Awakening cast members are basically carbon clones of Marth. You know? So, I mean, Lucina, yeah, right? Exactly. And Crom is just gruffer Marth. So, you know, not in this game, but you get my point, right? Like, the Fire Emblem games are a half step away from just being Street Fighter Shoto clones repeatedly. So. And we still love them. I am also Spartacus. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, that just goes to say, like, I have a lot of strategy games that I'm actually really excited for on my docket, but there's so many, right? And most of them are new games, right? But there are a handful of games that I really want to go back and play, right? Like, I really would love to go back and play Ogre Battle 64. I really would love to go back and play Cardia. I haven't played it in a couple years at this point, so I'd really love to go back and play Shining Force 2. That game's my baby. I absolutely adore it. And then there's a bunch of other older games that I would love to have a second go at or a first go at. But then there's all of these other strategy games that I have never played that I'm very interested in, like Symphony War. I'm very interested in. Engage is coming out. I'm very interested in that. Visteria Saga, I'm pretty interested in. I still am very interested in doing Fire Emblem Thracia, right? Just because of the time that I spent in genealogy, I'm like, I need to do that one. So there's just so many things to do. Shit, I could play just the games I listed off, and that would take like 2 years for me to get through. Like, I need more game time, y'all. Need more game time. More game time, please. Ow. I got a hitch in my side. Right, this is the use flash cut location. Ow! The hitch! Oh, it is the bonus. He's asleep on my suitcase. Electro shower. Nice. They keep showing off maps that look to be recreations of iconic maps from the previous games. Well, yeah, I mean, I assume with the whole Engage thing, there's gonna be... well, so, like, the implication that they have made in... I say implication, they've basically come out and say it, but, like, the enemies are gonna have engages as well. So they're gonna bring back, I'm assuming, big villains from most of the games. I'm assuming there's gonna be 12 bad guys to go with the 12 good guys, maybe, or maybe I don't know. That part is less clear, but I'm assuming in that vein, there's maybe gonna be some like world travel. Your fan theory is that there's gonna be villain rings? Yeah, so there's either gonna be villain rings or they're going to steal the Engage rings and turn the good guys against the good guys, right? Like an Arvis ring? Absolutely. That's what I'm expecting, right? And that would be really cool. They showed what looked like the Big Bridge map from Ike's games and a famously annoying map from Thracia. Oh no. Not a famously annoying map. I don't want that. Oh, I forgot to do the thing again. Whoops. Okay, let's stop being dumb. Let's use Flash Cut. And defend. We're also going to Palm Litany, defend. Defend. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum-ba-dum. Oh yeah. But yeah, I really like the look of the characters in Engage, and I think it's probably going to be a really fun game. Which is cool because I'm hopeful that I'm probably going to make time for it on my docket. Because the last couple Fire Emblem games, I've played through the majority of the last couple ones, but I've kind of bounced on them a bit because I keep having that whole handheld issue. And playing things on stream has gotten me over the hump of not finishing some of the things that I play, because that's a really bad habit I have, is not finishing things. So I played Awakening, I played Echoes, I played Fates, I played Three Houses, right? Like, so I played all of them. I just didn't finish all of them. Yeah, Three Houses overwhelmed me too. Absolutely. It totally overwhelmed me. Too much shit to do that wasn't the game, and too many things in the game that I wasn't super interested in. Like, I don't mind in Fire Emblem games, I don't mind a big enemy or a unique mechanic here or there, but in a lot of the mid game it got to the point to where there were a lot of battles where it was just like, 2x2 squared enemies, 3x3 squared enemies, or whatever it was, and you gotta pile onto this side and I was like, it was just so much like extra stuff to do aside from just like I kind of want to play the game, right? Yeah, Fire Emblem is at its best when you have limited choices and resources. I kind of agree. And you can't just make a death squad with little consequences. I think that's one of the reasons why I absolutely enjoyed Genealogy of the Holy War so much, right? So, like, Genealogy of the Holy War was my jam because everything was so limited. My resources were super limited, but at the same time, I was completely free to use anyone and everyone, right? So it was like a perfect storm of shit for me, because it was this scenario of like, I don't have to make a choice on which character to use. I get to use all the characters, but I can't just sit there and grind out literally everything over and over and over again for perfect builds or whatever. That being said, still, you know what? I actually think that's one of my proudest accomplishments. Getting level 30 on every character in the second generation of Genealogy of the Holy War made me feel so like legit, because that was like a math struggle. Yeah, you get to make meaningful choices, but you can't just infinitely reclass people. Absolutely. Now, I do think at the end of the day, I would have liked a little more flexibility with Genealogy of the Holy War, but I do like the limited nature of the resources that we had to deal with. Okay, we got several starlights out of that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starlights. Not starlights, silverlights. Silverlights being the much more important one for the late game. I say for the late game. Let's heal up. And you know what? That's actually probably going to be the end of this video. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to keep playing. If you're watching on YouTube, hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time for more Lunar Silver Star Harmony. That is the world tour done, by the way. We're getting back to the actual story next video. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.